There's some new information concerning Texas Tech's ongoing battle against the COVID-19 virus, including one victim who ultimately passed away from the disease. Coming up, we'll have those details and the latest look at the on-campus numbers.
An event more than 50 years in the making took place last week here at Texas Tech. Find out what building is celebrating new life after almost 100 years on campus next.
And it's homecoming week, but you might not know it by the lack of events. MCTV's Kritzia Williams has a look at the new approach to this old tradition and how both students and alumni are handling the change.
This is the MCTV Weekday Update.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Monday edition of the MCTV Weekday Update. I'm Will Lanigan.
And I'm Natalee Gomez.
Last week, the Texas Tech University system gave an update on the state of COVID-19 on campus, including the acknowledgement of the university's first and only coronavirus-related death. On Friday, Texas Tech system officials met with the Board of Regents to give a mid-semester report on the state of the university's campuses. During the open session portion of the meeting, TTU Health Science Center President Dr. Lori Rice Spearman reported that a staff member at the Texas Tech Health Science Center was the system's only fatality in the fight against COVID-19. Bob Armstrong, a 56-year-old nurse practitioner at El Paso's Sanchez State Jail, died on July the 3rd after contracting the coronavirus. Armstrong also had two other pre-existing conditions which contributed to his death. But as of Friday, Armstrong is the only known COVID-19 related death within the TTU system. During Friday's meeting, University President Lawrence Skuvanek also reported that only one student had been hospitalized since the university resumed in-person instruction back in August. Skuvanek also confirmed that Texas Tech is continuing to keep 480 Lubbock hotel rooms available for quarantine purposes in case an outbreak occurs on campus.
In other COVID-19 news, Texas Tech officials are reporting an increase in positive cases in the Texas Tech community as the campus enters the 9th week of in-person classes. On Friday, the TTU COVID-19 reporting dashboard listed 29 new active cases made up of 26 students and 3 employees. Friday's numbers also included 14 recoveries. Along with Friday's new infections, the university saw a jump in active cases for the week, with 151 positive tests being added to the total count since Saturday, October 10th. In comparison, the university's only reported 83 new infections during the previous week, between October 3rd and October 9th. With last week's increase, the university saw an end to 6 weeks of decreasing infections that have been dropping since the end of August. Even though the university's dashboard does not include information on how the disease is spread, Health Science Center President Lori Rice Spearman report to the Board of Regents on Friday stated that most students are not getting the disease on campus.
Our challenges, events that are occurring outside of our universities, social events. I think they've been linked to funerals and weddings and social events where food is being served and masks are not being worn consistently. So those are our concerns outside of our campus.
As of Friday, the Texas Tech officials have reported a total of 1,972 positive cases since the beginning of August.
Although COVID-19 has continued to be an issue on campus, that didn't keep the Texas Tech community from celebrating a huge moment in university history. Last Friday morning, university officials along with invited guests gathered for the Dairy Barn ribbon-cutting ceremony. The event marked the end of renovations to the facility that started earlier this year. The ceremony included speeches by several Tech officials, followed by the ribbon cutting and tours of the facility. But unlike similar events in the past, Friday's ceremony holds a special place in Tech history. The Dairy Barn is one of the first buildings built on campus, and it's the oldest facility to be fully renovated after sitting dormant for more than 50 years.
This is a vision that has taken really pretty close to a half century to come to. It's not something we just did in the last few years. It came together in the last few years, yes, but it's a lot of people over a long period of time envisioning what this facility might be.
This is one of the 4 original buildings on this campus, but for more than just its age, it has a special historical significance because of what it represents. It stands as a reminder of our West Texas heritage and our agricultural roots.
The renovated dairy barn includes multi-purpose spaces on both the first and second floors, a conference room, food service area, and even the addition of an elevator. The facility also features several displays detailing the history of the dairy barn and the university, with a specific focus on Tech's agricultural roots. Construction on the project finished up earlier this month, and the final cost was $3.5 million, which was largely made up of donations from alumni.
Major construction on the dairy barn may have started back in January, but the idea to preserve the facility has been in the works for years. Back in 2015, just short of the dairy barn's 90th anniversary, MCTV reporter Caitlin Kravick took a step back in time to learn about the importance of the dairy barn in the history of Texas Tech University.
Nestled between the Texas Tech Library and the English and Philosophy Building, you'll find one of the 4 original buildings on Texas Tech's campus, the Dairy Barn. The barn was originally used for the dairy program, which allowed students to bring up to 3 cows to Texas Tech with them. The students could keep the cows in the dairy barn and use the profits from selling milk products to pay for their tuition. The work the students did in the barn paid for the cows' keep. Amy Meyer, university archivist at the Southwest Collection Library, says the hands-on experience was crucial to the students' success.
It's taught students how to care for their animals, how to manage a farm. We had far more than just dairy cattle. There were horses, there were sheep, there were pigs, and all of it centered around the dairy barn, and these students learned by doing.
Jerome Beach, an alumnus of Texas Tech, worked in the barn with 8 other male students for 2 years before he graduated in 1957.
Worked 3 different shifts of milking and feeding the cow. Everybody had a shift, and then we cooked our own meals. Everybody had a job to do, either cooking or washing dishes or cleaning up, and it worked real well.
Beach says it was a pretty good job to have on campus.
We worked 3 hours each day, made $1.80, and we contribute $1 a day for our food. Of course, we had our milk, and then we got eggs up from the poultry division at the school. We ended up doing real well with just contributing $1 a day.
Meyer says alumni who worked in the barn tend to have a strong emotional connection to it.
Some of our older students are alumni who have come in who worked there. They just look at the dairy barn and you can see all the memories flash across their faces. It's wonderful.
Well, we've had roller coaster type weather conditions here on the South Plains after a series of cold fronts dropped temperatures over the last 4 days. Temperatures have ranged between the upper 30s and low 90s in just over 72 hours. So will we see some consistency anytime soon? MCTV's Madison Hartin joins us in the studio with the latest look at the forecast. Madison?
Thanks, guys. Well, roller coaster truly is the most perfect way to describe conditions here over the last couple days on the South Plains. We have seen temperatures as high as 90 and lows into the 30s over the last couple days. And again, roller coaster truly is the perfect word to describe it. Even this morning, we were experiencing temperatures that were cold and cool, and it looked like we were all going to have a nice day. We could all don our fall sweaters and hats, but by this point in the day, we're all taking off our fall sweaters and hats, or else we're going to die of heat stroke out there. Our high temperature climbed all the way up to 72 degrees for the day. Sunny and mild conditions with a wind coming from the south at 10 to 15 miles per hour. For this evening, we are going to be seeing another return to cooler temperatures as we drop back down to 52 degrees. Partly cloudy conditions, but it is going to be cool with the southeasterly wind coming at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Now, looking at the South Plains as a whole for this evening, we are going to be seeing some areas of fog around the South Plains, but sadly no chances of rain in our forecast, which is a bit of a drag just considering we haven't gotten any substantial rain since about mid-September, but we could be seeing some later in the forecast. You never know, but it's definitely not going to be in our immediate forecast of the next couple days. Looking into our high temperatures for tomorrow, we are going to be seeing another return of hot conditions here on the South Plains. For Lubbock locally, we're going to be sitting in about the mid-80s, with hotter temperatures being out there by Friota and Morton, with the temperatures getting as high as 90 or into the upper 80s. And looking into tomorrow evening, we're going to be seeing another return to cooler temperatures, but not as cool as we've been experiencing over the last couple of days, with temperatures sitting in around the mid-50s. Now, bringing it back into Lubbock locally, we can see that for Tuesday, we're going to be experiencing a high of 82 degrees, low of 58, and a southerly wind coming at 10 to 20 miles per hour. For Wednesday, very similar to conditions to what we had today, with it starting out cloudy in the morning, but those clouds dissipating later on, leaving us with some sunny skies, with a high of 82, a low of 60, and a southerly wind coming at 10 to 20 miles per hour. And then for Thursday, we're going to be seeing our hottest temperatures of the week as we climb all the way up to 88 degrees, with potentials for it to get as hot as 90 out there. 43 is our low, and a southerly wind coming at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Now, it still does not feel like fall outside. At least it doesn't feel like fall in the afternoon. But remember what they say. Every day, winter's getting closer, and the temperatures here in West Texas are like a roller coaster. For MCTV Weather, I'm Madison Hartin. Back to you.
Thanks, Madison. Today marks the beginning of homecoming week here at Texas Tech. But unlike years past, there are few opportunities for students on campus to stir up school spirit in person. MCTV's Kritzia Williams has the details on what the annual Week of Traditions looks like in 2020.
With safety and health being our university's top priority, Texas Tech's homecoming will look a little different this year. Homecoming, along with a lot of other traditions, have stirred up some mixed emotions. Due to COVID, all this year's events have been moved online.
It won't be homecoming. I mean, you can't do something like homecoming virtual. That's just, it's just one of the things that's going on. But I mean, I don't think it's going to be very much fun.
Dean is a long-term professor and is an alumnus of Texas Tech. He has strong feelings about the changes that were made to the homecoming events. The homecoming parade is a staple here at Tech, but it has been canceled. Dean compares the parade to the Macy's parade in New York and feels instead of canceling it, it should have been moved virtual. With homecoming energy being such a powerhouse, will it be the same this year?
Well, we hope to keep up the spirits, just by hosting the events. I know it's weird that it's all virtual, but yes, we are hosting our virtual events. So that's, I guess, the biggest difference is that it's the same event. The same things are going to be happening. It's just that you won't be there in person to experience it. But we hope by the energy created in the videos that everyone stays hyped, stays excited for homecoming week.
Virtual homecoming is a very different sight for Tech's campus, and these changes have especially hit home for organizations in the Greek community. Sophomore Brinkley Rash says planning has been difficult with most homecoming events being made virtual due to COVID.
Dosing has been a lot different, which is the main thing that I've been over. The boys and the girls can't actually have physical contact, and there can only be like 8 girls and 8 guys. So we had to schedule multiple different practices, and the video submissions was filming. It's not actually they get to go to the USA this year. It's them us literally filming a video and then submitting it in.
Rash says only 10 people at a time were allowed to help make spirit banners and were required to wear masks. She says the entire reason for joining Pi Beta Phi is because she felt at home, and celebrations like homecoming are what it's all about.
I just feel really bad for the new PC, the PC-20, which is our upcoming pledge class, because they're not getting to have that aspect or even hang out with their own PC because of COVID, and we obviously want them to be safe. So the most interaction they really had together is through Zoom, which for us, we hate that because we really were excited for this experiencing homecoming week. I was a part of SOSing last year, and now I did homecoming committee because I loved it so much, and because I met my roommates. Both my roommates were in SOSing with me, and it was just really fun for me. And I encouraged all the girls to still do it, and I just hate that they don't get that experience. But I know that has been a really big deal to them and to everybody in Pi-Phi.
Homecoming traditions at Texas Tech have been around since 1954, and even with this year's changes, the campus appears to be coming together to face the odds and keep school spirit alive. For more information about Homecoming 2020, visit homecoming.ttu.edu and Texas Tech SAB on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. For MCTV, I'm Kritzia Williams.
Even though the traditional schedule of homecoming events has gone all virtual this year, there is still one yearly competition that will be happening in person. The 2020 Texas Tech homecoming football game is scheduled for this Saturday at Jones AT&T Stadium. The Red Raiders will host West Virginia in a rematch of last year's blowout of the Mountaineers in Morgantown. But this year, Tech is just hoping for any kind of victory as the team continues to look for its first win in conference. Kickoff for Texas Tech versus WVU is set for 4:30 p.m. with TV coverage on ESPN2. And the football team won't be the only team in town this week looking for their first victory. The women's soccer team is also returning to Lubbock to face the Iowa State Cyclones at John Walker Soccer Complex on Friday. The Red Raiders fell to number 6 ranked TCU this week, scoring no goals for the third time this season. Iowa State is also coming off a loss to Texas last week, but the Cyclones have 2 wins this year and are looking for a third on the road. This Friday's game is scheduled to start at 7:15 p.m. and if you can't make it in person, you can catch all the action on Big 12 Now on ESPN+.
Halloween is just 12 days away. Even though the holiday may look a little different this year with the COVID-19 in the mix, there's still one local Lubbock attraction that can get you into the spooky spirit while having a good scare. Throughout the month of October, the Hub City is home to the annual Fright Fest, Nightmare on 19th Street, allowing fans of thrills and horror to enjoy 4 hair-raising attractions all in one place. Doors open at 7:30 p.m. each weekend, with people waiting patiently in line as anticipation builds for the frights ahead.
Nightmare on 19th is 4 haunted attractions strung together. When we are open at full capacity, it's 1.24 miles. It may be the longest contiguous haunted house in the world.
Well, it is on the cheaper side if they're wanting to watch their budget, but it will give them enough fun and entertainment for the night that they need.
I think with everything going on, have a little bit of fun, wear your mask and stay safe.
Attendees are greeted with plenty of scares, including employees who dress up in costume and wander through the park. Tickets for the attraction start at $25 and it's open every Friday and Saturday through Halloween. For more information on this year's event, visit nightmareon19th.st.com.
So, Will, do you have any plans to make it out to the Nightmare on 19th Street this year?
Well, I don't think so. I'm definitely looking forward to the OU football game on Halloween night, though. OU's not ranked this year, so maybe we can escape with a win.
Hopefully. That's all for today's edition of the MCTV's Weekday Update.
Thank you so much for joining us, and be sure to check ttuhub.net every day for more news. We'll see you all again on Thursday.